I don't want to live my life living on the edge of my seat, wondering, is there enough for me? Are there enough resources for me? Is there enough toilet paper at the grocery store for me? I want to practice abundance, not that scarcity mindset. Yogis, we're going over Asteya, yama number 3. So you've been to a few or maybe many yoga classes and you are hooked. Somehow you feel better, kinder, more connected to yourself and those around you. Your friends view you as a hippie now, and your parents, well, they think it's a phase. Regardless, when you are on your mat, you are home. Yoga teachers and students, come learn how yoga can help you navigate the daily grind, breakups, your anxiety from a place of clarity and compassion. Welcome to the Modern Yogi Podcast, hosted by me, Laura Siljander. Misfits, earthlings, yogis, take a deep breath, check in to see how you're doing, body, mind, and soul, because you have arrived. Welcome back to the Modern Yogi Podcast with me, Laura. Right now I'm looking out my window and there is my little bunny hopping around my front yard. We live really close to the ocean and there are marsh bunnies, and his name is Christopher, and we feed him carrots and he's the bomb. He's fluffy. You can see him on my IG stories. All right, well, this episode is brought to you by my online coaching services. Y'all, did you know that I have my undergrad in exercise science and my master's degree in clinical social work? I am trained to work with the body and the mind. And I do this in person, but most of you are not here in the Wrightsville Beach area. I do it online. And I mix some yoga, meditation, some breathing, and the traditional mental health services that you would get elsewhere. But I come in from like an Eastern, Western perspective. So if you're going through grief, a breakup, healing, depression, anxiety, that's my sauce, that's my jam. If you need some help navigating this, reach out to me. You can DM me on Instagram, you can go to my website, check it out if you're interested. Okay, on to yama number 3. Okay, let's recap here. We are beginning the series on the 8 limbs of yoga by Patanjali. 8 limbs of yoga have 2 limbs that talk about yogic lifestyle, a limb of breathing, a limb of moving, and 4 limbs of meditation. We are on the first limb, the yamas, and we've gone over ahimsa, non-harming and compassion. We have gone over satya, living that truth. And today we're going to go over asteya, non-stealing. Sounds good, right? Let's dive in. Asteya, non-stealing. Instead of living with a sense of scarcity or living in that mindset of scarcity, we live in a place of abundance. If you're not a kleptomaniac, this can still apply to you. Y'all know that I teach in the yoga studies minor at UNC Wilmington, and this is the age where my kiddos, my students like to go out. They are in Greek life, they're going out to parties, things like that. They're drinking a lot. Let's just say that. Some of us have gone through this phase, some of us have not. For those of you who have gone through this phase, I have a funny story that usually makes them at least smile. You know when you're going out with your friends and you got that one friend and she drinks and she has a big purse and she, for some reason or another, comes home with a lot of stuff she took while she was drinking in her bag. This friend could be you. You could have a friend like this. Yeah, don't do that. Don't steal. It's pretty obvious, but what Asteya is really getting to, other than don't take what's not yours, is the root cause of stealing, which is I don't have enough or I need more. It comes from a feeling of lacking, scarcity, insecurity. You're living in that mindset of scarcity. And that's what Asteya is trying to address. Y'all, we're in a pandemic right now. Like, we have all felt it. Scarcity with money, scarcity with toilet paper, scarcity with our freedom. We've all dealt with this. I don't think any human has ever felt like they have it all the time. Asteya is asking you just to look at it. Let's just investigate this further. So this feeling of lacking drives us to buy things that we don't need, right? We don't need. So in a culture where we see on average 4,000 advertisements per day, we are conditioned to want more. We are conditioned to feel like we are lacking and we are needing 4,000 advertisements a day. I didn't believe it after I read this. And then I started to really look around. You can see advertisements on someone's hat, t-shirt, a sticker on their laptop, your Facebook feed. It's everywhere you drive. Remember when we used to drive? You'd see it on the side of the roads. I mean, there are advertisements everywhere. Podcasts have advertisements, radio, TV. Sheesh, we are seeing so many advertisements. And the marketers, man, they are good. They know that the more that they market to us, the more that they can say, here's this external thing that's going to make you really happy to fix what's going on the inside. We all have experienced this before too. We really have. We are manipulated into believing that these external things will heal us on the inside. So we overspend and we get that hit of newness. We buy that candle that's going to make us feel so much more relaxed. We buy that outfit that's going to make us feel hot. We're going to buy those new yoga pants so you can just feel better in your postures. It's all of this stuff, y'all. It's all of this stuff. So we get that feeling of new, that like really fun, I have something new, brings you joy. And then soon after, that feeling dampens. We are left with that feeling of being bored, lonely, or whatever emotion that you're trying to temporarily dull out. Lifetime example? Let's go. He breaks up with you. She breaks up with you. They break up with you. You feel betrayed. You can't trust people. You can barely trust yourself. You put your trust in this person and they betrayed you and they left let you down. And your friends are like, we're going to make you feel better. Let's do something fun. Let's go out. You say, all right, I need it. Or you're like, I don't really want to, but they're not going to take no for an answer. So you buy the dress, you buy some new mascara, put it on. You feel okay. You're like, I'm feeling hot. You go out with your friends. You numb it out for a while. You come home, you take off the new outfit, you wash off the new makeup, and you're still lonely. Now you're feeling lonely and bored and betrayed again. So you're like, I'm going to do something good for myself. I'm going to go to yoga, but I'm going to need a new yoga mat. And I'm going to need a headband too. So you go out and you purchase these things, and perhaps you don't even start the yoga class because that's not really why you were buying the stuff in the first place. Does this make sense a little bit? Living from that sense of lacking, trying to numb this out, that could be considered Asteya. And you're like, how does this have to do anything with stealing? But do you see that overlap? That it's not the stealing, it's the feeling behind the stealing. I need more. I want more. I am lacking. There's actually a yama that we're going to go over called aparigraha, which is non-hoarding. And this Asteya and this thought goes along the lines with that non-hoarding, buying too much stuff. I mean, y'all, look around the room that you're in right now. How much stuff do you have in there that you actually use? Like, I use it all. I'm like, then you're living your Asteya, baby. Or you go into your closet. Do you wear all those clothes? I know I don't. I need to work on this Asteya, huh? What's really neat about yoga is it says, just take a look at it. What's your truth here? What's your satya here? How can you invite compassion into this? How can this affect your life for better or for worse? Are you living from a space of scarcity, of lack? Is it working for you? Do you want to change it? Is it something you need to sit with? That's what yoga asks you to do. Is it working for you? Is it getting you closer to that samadhi, that bliss, whatever you want to call it? Is it making you suffer more or less? That's what yoga asks you to do. Another way that you can look at Asteya is stealing someone's energy, peace, or using too many resources. That's another way you can kind of process Asteya. So stealing someone's peace. Remember way back before COVID when we could actually go to a yoga class? Imagine you walk into a class and you go to your spot that you go to every time. You have your mat in hand and there's someone laying next to you in Supta Baddha Konasana where their feet are together, knees are bent, legs are open. There are 2 blocks underneath each knee and he or she has their hands over heart and chest and they're just breathing. Their eyes are closed. You can tell they're trying to drop in. And instead of maybe flinging your mat down and throwing a block down, I'm not saying you're like throwing it, but you know what I mean, getting a little rowdy, perhaps not stealing their peace in that way, you can pay attention, put your mat down gently, roll it out gently, and then if you see someone that you know in class, maybe walk over to them rather than yelling across the room. Maybe during this social distancing thing in the COVID-19 crisis, giving people that 6 feet and not stealing their boundaries. Even that, like when people get or a little less than 6 feet from me, I'm like, you're stealing my peace. Asteya could be asking you, if you want to view it in this way, is take a look at the people around you. How can you not steal their peace? And if you think about it, this is yoga. Yoga is to unite yourself and the divine, yourself with the people around you. That's where this comes to play. And then to unite, your body, mind, and soul. But it's also to connect with yourself and the people around you. This is how you can practice Asteya if this is your truth. If this is something that you're like, I should work on this. The way I see this manifested a lot is in conversation when there's someone who just really needs to be heard. Maybe they're going through something and they just really need to get it out. They need to be heard. And the person that they're talking to steals the conversation. They layer their story on top of the person who needs to be heard's story, and they stop listening and they just tune in to their story. And they're robbing that person of that needing to release it out. I cover this in depth in one of my episodes called Opinions Are Like Assholes, Everyone Has One. But that's a way of just noticing, am I stealing someone's energy here? Can you think of some ways that perhaps this may resonate with you in your life? If you're like, no, this doesn't really resonate with me, that's actually really, really normal to go through the 8 limbs of yoga, and some of them really hit home. And some of them really don't apply, but some of them really hit home. So if this is one for you that really hits home and you're like, yep, I see that I may steal or other people may steal someone's energy, someone's peace. Am I using more resources than I need? Am I living from this place of scarcity? Am I always worried, is there going to be enough for me? I'm not saying don't watch your back and don't plan, but there is that balance between living in abundance, living from scarcity, and there's that little in-between spot. Now, I know that we're not always going to practice abundance, but a way that you can try on your mat that I have found is that I'll practice gratitude for during good times and bad times. A way that I'll practice gratitude is either in the beginning of my yoga class. It's typically in the beginning. With my pranayama work, with my breath work, I'll think about 3 things I'm grateful for right now, today. What am I grateful for? And some days I really have to dig deep. And some days I'm like, I can think of 6 things. But this way of practicing gratitude during hard times and the good times perhaps could change your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Asteya, non-stealing. Pretty deep, huh? It's more than just don't steal. All right, so I hope you are enjoying this 8-limb path of Patanjali and the Yoga Sutras. Just a little reminder, I am a student and a yoga teacher. I am not a philosopher. This is just how I'm making sense of all the readings that I'm doing, practices that I am doing, and holy smokes, a new satya, a new truth is unveiled often. So this is where I'm at right now. I hope you have found a little nugget that maybe is striking a chord with you. And again, it's all good if some of these limbs or some of these ideals don't make sense and some of them do. It's all good. And sometimes you'll come back to it in a year and you're like, whoa, that makes sense now. The light bulb is on. I get it. Okay, so practice that compassion, y'all, with your thoughts. With your thoughts first. That internal dialogue. What is going on there? Can we be kinder? Practice compassion with your speech. Maybe a little less criticism, a little bit more understanding. And practice compassion with your actions. Doing your yoga. Eating good food. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. Namaste. Shalom. Pura Vida.